Have you ever felt tired for no reason? Maybe your stomach hurt after eating. Maybe your gut was bloated after eating and was still bloated after hours of eating earlier. Maybe your skin breaks out in hives and eczema. Maybe you can't focus and you can't remember what happened an hour ago. You're anxious. Sometimes you get anxiety from out of stupid little things. And maybe you're always getting sick, like having a cold every month, having a cold every 2 months. What if I told you all of those symptoms are connected? What if the real problem isn't your brain, but it's your gut? Most people don't really think much about the gut, especially back like 5 years ago. Now, gut issues are like the rage right now because people are actually discovering that the gut is the second brain. Is very important to know about because the gut is so underrated, but it does so much for our bodies, for our organs, for our brain, for the way we think. If the gut is healthy, your brain is healthy. So the gut is not a place where the food just goes there and sits there and gets digested. It does way more than that. Your gut is like the control center of your body. Today in this video, I am going to talk about the anti-nutrients in your food that you are ingesting that is hurting your gut and why they're hurting your gut. Today, I am going to talk about in this video about what anti-nutrients are, why they're hurting your gut, why they're the bad guys, and why healing your gut could change your energy, your focus, your sleep, and your memory. So let's get into it. So a few years ago, I started to deal with health problems. I was really bloated and I had a very, very bad memory. I would forget about what happened even like 20 minutes ago because I just couldn't think clearly. I couldn't concentrate in conversations. I felt tired all the time. I felt like I needed to sleep a lot to be better the next day. That's what I told myself, believe it or not, for years. Come to find out it was because of my gut and it was just not healthy. You know, in the past I struggled with acne, headaches, even high cholesterol, but that was my pre-vegan years. I was very much eating Pizza Hut and Dr. Pepper every day. So when I first started to see the symptoms in my body, I thought they were separated. I didn't think it was all connected. I didn't even think about my gut. I just thought, okay, maybe I'm just super tired. Maybe I'm just not a good sleeper. Maybe I'm just someone that stresses too much and it affects me, and that's why I forget a lot and I don't think well and I can't sleep well. Maybe that's why. I was coming up with excuses instead of just looking at what's literally happening to my body and trying to connect to all those symptoms together. I didn't even think about that. So they were all connected. The more I learned about my body, the more I learned how important these connections were. When the gut struggles, the rest of the body struggles with it. So think about it like this. When the foundation of the house that you are building is broken and it's weak, would fixing a cracked window help? I mean, there's not really a window because you're starting to create the house. So maybe you created the frame of the house and you're creating the frame of a window and you installed the window, but the foundation is broken and it's not sturdy, it's shaking, it's easily shakeable. Do you think that window is gonna stay there long? And that's what I think about symptoms. Like we cover our symptoms easily with caffeine, with things like a pill to help us sleep, medicine, medicating ourselves to help us sleep. And I just think that covering up symptoms with a pill, with caffeine, with other healthy foods is just not helpful in the long run. It's just not. Because think about it. If you can get to the root of the problem of all these symptoms and resolve it, the symptoms go away. You don't have to do these other little things to cover it up, to help you in the momentary time that you're struggling. You can just help yourself forever by solving the root cause of these problems, and now you don't have to cover up these problems. Now you saved time and heartache by just resolving the root of the problem. So fixing the foundation so that it's not shakeable, so that it's sturdy, and that there's no cracks. So now your window can just be there as a placeholder and be sturdy and not be broken down one day. You know it's gonna stay there because the foundation is correct. The foundation is not shakeable. And that's how I see the gut. The gut is the foundation for all the organs, your brain, the rest of your body to be in healthy position. So now let's talk about those anti-nutrients, okay? So what are anti-nutrients? They are just chemical compounds created by plants that reside in plants. So plants can't run away from predators, right? They don't have legs to run away. They don't have that physicality, but they created a way to ward off predators by creating chemical compounds in the body that are not tasty and are poisonous. So that when a predator comes along and tries to eat that plant as a whole, it can't, because once it takes a bite, it starts to feel bad in his gut, in his stomach, and goes away and no longer wants to touch the plant. The plant has won. But the plant created this chemical compound, this poisonous compound in the body called an anti-nutrient, to ward off predators, to save itself, right? We don't live in heaven. We live in a broken world where predators run around, and plants have their own defensive mechanism called anti-nutrients. And so I think people forget that, yes, we're not predators of plants, but I mean, we do eat plants in large amounts. So in a way we are. And when we ingest those plants, we are ingesting the anti-nutrients with it. And your body reacts to it, especially if you're eating it in large amounts. So common anti-nutrients are lectins, oxalates, phytates, tannins. You don't really need to memorize those names. Just remember that plants create chemical compounds that are poisonous to ward off predators. And you can simply just summarize all these words into an anti-nutrient. So imagine you're trying to absorb vitamins and minerals from the foods that you just ate. And some of the foods that you just ate were vegetables, nuts, spinach, well, not so much fruits, but mainly vegetables and nuts. They contain a lot of oxalates, anti-nutrients, and you ingest them and you don't feel well now. But because you don't feel well now and your body is taking its time and it's hard for it to digest all these foods that contain all these anti-nutrients, it's also hard for it to absorb the nutrients, the nutrients, not anti-nutrients, but nutrients that are from the plants that are good for your body, and can't digest them well, filter them out, and take it to the right places in your body, right? So the bioavailability in plants, in my opinion, one of the reasons why it's not easily digestible in your body and absorbed into your bloodstream is because of those anti-nutrients. Okay, depending on where your health is right now, if you don't have great health issues, if you don't have great health right now and you have gut issues, I would stay away from these, from these plants, from these nuts, because you're not in a position where your body can really fight against these anti-nutrients and absorb the nutrients from the plant. It's just not in that position right now. And that's okay. You can get there one day. So that's why some people react to anti-nutrients from vegetables and nuts easily and just can eat it in large amounts and be fine, because they probably have a very great, healthy gut. But some of us can't, like this girl, okay? It took time for me to incorporate nuts, a little bit of nuts into my life, but it's because I had to heal my gut. So remember this, you guys. A healthy gut doesn't just help your stomach, it also helps your brain. It's the partner in crime that your brain needs. It helps your immune system, it helps your energy, it helps your life. And if your gut isn't healing, maybe it's time to stop looking at only just the symptoms and look at the root cause of those symptoms. Look at the problem, the real problem underneath everything. If you're someone who is still suffering through pain because of these gut issues and haven't seen a decrease in those gut issues, then please check out my free video guide that I created just for you about the 7 mistakes that you are committing on the carnivore diet that is not healing your gut. Check it out in the description below. Have an amazing day. I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.